everybody, welcome to today's video. My name is McKenna Blanthorne and I'm so excited that you've decided to join us on the Silhouette YouTube channel. We're going to be making something super fun today, but make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for lots more fun crafting ideas. Let's go ahead and get started with today's project. So let's begin by talking about today's project that we're going to be making today. So out of school is right around the corner, summer is coming, and I remember when I was a younger girl, I loved to make little gifts or like little projects for my friends at the end of school, and so we're kind of going to be basing today's project off of that idea. So this is going to be a great project for you and your kids to make together for their little friends, or just a fun project to introduce summer. And this project also is kind of gender neutral. You can do it with boys or girls. I've actually done this project with boys and girls, little kids and teenagers and everybody. So it's a super fun, versatile project. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using these clay beads and then these little letter beads also to be making fun little bracelets. Right now, everything that's in style is just super colorful and funky and fun, and that's just kind of like the trends for summer this coming year. So these are super fun because you can just wear them all summer long, and I even think they're cute for adults too. So I have a couple bracelets like these that I love to make. So we're going to be making these bracelets, but then with our Silhouette machine, we're going to be using just white cardstock to create a little gifting card for the bracelet, so that when your kids gift them to their friends or whatever, it will look super cute and super fun. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to jump into the software, and I'm going to show you how to design this little bracelet gifting card. So here we are in Silhouette Studio, and pretty much everything I'm going to be doing today is just with the standard settings. The only thing that I changed is I changed my media size to letter size paper instead of 12 by 12 material. And then I just need to come up here in my page setup over here to this little third icon, and this is my registration mark section, and I'm just going to turn that on. We are doing a print and cut design today, and this is how your machine will know where to cut. It will read these little black marks, and we just need to make sure that we are not having our design in this cross-hatched area, and it also needs to be inside this red line to be in our cut area. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use just our shapes to create these cards that I'm talking about. So when I buy jewelry at the store, specifically bracelets, earrings come on little cards. That's kind of what I'm going for here today, and I want to do it so it's going to fold over. And you'll see what I mean as we kind of build this and go, but I think this is a really great and easy way to package a little bracelet or a necklace. And even if you're not making the bracelet or necklace, this is a fun way to create a little package for any type of jewelry that you might be giving somebody to. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to create two squares that kind of are going to go, they're going to fold towards each other, kind of like a sandwich. And I'm actually going to use a rounded rectangle. I just prefer rounded edges for projects. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my rounded rectangle tool, which you can find right over here in your flexi shapes, and then I just drew a rounded rectangle, and I would like to make it exactly 2 inches wide. So I'm just going to come up here to my width and height on my toolbar, and I'm just going to type 2. It was almost 2 inches, and then 1.6 inches high. I have a ruler right here that I'm looking at, and I think I want to do it more like 2 inches. So I'm going to make it a square. So I'm just going to disconnect this little padlock right here and then change my height to 2 also. And then I can lock that padlock again to make it the exact size. And then we can also adjust our rounded corners if we want. You can make them more round or less round. I like how the default is though. So we're just going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to switch to my select tool. And we're just going to duplicate this square. So we're just going to right click and select copy, and then we're going to right click and select paste. And we just want to line these up kind of on top of each other with a little bit of a space in between. So these are what are going to fold together kind of like a sandwich, and then we're going to put a connecting piece right in the middle of the two that the bracelet will kind of hang on. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a regular square for this one, and then, a regular rectangle. And then we're just going to draw a little rectangle piece kind of in between these, and you can make it whatever size you want. You can make it thick or thin. If you do make it thin, you run the risk that it's going to tear if your bracelets are too heavy. So I like to make it a little bit on the thicker side, and then we're just going to select all three of these shapes by drawing a rectangle over the top of them, and then we're going to come up here to our centering and aligning tool, and we're just going to vertically center them. And then we're just going to keep those selected, and I'm going to come down here to my modify panel, and we are going to use the weld tool to make these three shapes all one shape. So just make sure that they're all overlapping and that they are all selected, and we're just going to click weld. And then as you can see, it creates one shape, and now you guys can probably tell a little bit more how I'm planning on folding this in half, and it will meet exactly in the middle. All right, so now we can go ahead and add our design to these cards. So this is going to be the front card, and then this is going to be the back card. So just imagine that like this is our front, we're going to bend it backwards, and then we actually are going to have the bracelets hang, so I said the opposite. This is going to be our front card, and then this is going to fold backwards. The bracelets are going to hang right here, and then we'll put a cute little salutation on the back. So we're going to go to our library and open up our design. And I just purchased this design from the design store. I was just kind of thinking like that out of school, youngish girl, kid vibe. And I found this really cute peace out 5th grade sign design. So we're just going to go ahead and click that design, double click it to open it in your file. And then obviously it's way too big for our little piece. So all we need to do is select it and then drag it down on the corner. You don't need to hold down shift or anything. You just click and drag. And then we're just going to center it right in the middle of this top box. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And we're going to max out the size. Okay, and then I'm just going to select my shape and I'm just going to align it centrally just so this design is right in the middle of my square. And then on the back side, it's really fun to put like a little salutation. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab our text tool right here, which it looks like a little A, and then I'm just going to click and we can just start typing. So I'm just going to say, let's see, have a great summer. Thanks for making 5th grade great. See you next year. And you can just sign it however you want. I'm going to zoom out so we can see a little bit better. So now we can go ahead and choose our font that we want to use. So to do that, I'm just going to double click, and then I'm going to click inside until that little blue cursor shows up, and I'm going to click select all. And then I'm going to open my character panel, or sorry, text style panel right here. And we can go ahead and choose the font that we want to use. We can just go ahead and look through these different ones. I have a lot of fun fonts on my computer. You can get fonts in the Silhouette Design Store, which is where a lot of these are from. But one thing I like about Silhouette Studio is you can use any font that you already have on your computer also. So this one kind of matches the vibe, like the groovy vibe we're going for. So let's go ahead and use this one. And then we can go ahead and change the color as well. We're just going to change it to black for right now. And then we can go ahead and change the color of all of the cards as we go to kind of match the bracelets that we're going to be making. So obviously this is still way too big to go on our card. So we're going to format the text now. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to double click till that blue cursor shows up, and then do Command A to select all of it. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make it centered. So justify center, which you just find up here in the toolbar, and I'm just going to center that. And then I'm going to open the text style panel one more time, and we can actually change the line spacing down here, and I'm also going to just decrease the line spacing to make it a little bit more kind of on top of each other, just so we don't have as much space. And then we can go ahead and size this down by just dragging. And we might want to make our text, it's still pretty big. It's still size 72 or 0.72, or sorry, it's 27. So I studied graphic design in college actually, and when you're making text, the standard size you want to make it is like 10 to 12 point. If you do that, it's not going to look super massive and it's not going to look super small. So let's go ahead and change this to 12 point font and see where that puts us. So obviously it looks really small on our screen, but we're going to go ahead and zoom in with this little magnifying glass at the top, and then we can kind of reformat our lines here. So "Have a great summer" is going to fit great right there. And then let's go ahead and change right there. "Thanks for making 5th grade great. See you next year." And then let's go ahead and leave a few blanks, and then we can put "Love," and I'll just put my name, "Love McKenna," as if McKenna, little girl McKenna, was making these. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and center this in my box again, the same way I centered the original design. And this is what our cards are going to look like. But I will say there's one thing we need to make sure that we change before we copy this and duplicate it. So since we are folding this back piece over the back side, if we print it like this, it's going to be upside down. So we just need to rotate it 180 degrees. And when we do this, it'll show up perfectly. So now, like I said, we kind of want to have these match our bracelets that we're going to be making. So I think it would be super fun, you know, have your daughter or your son pick out colors that they want to make for their friends, and then like exact bracelets that they're making for their friends, and then we can go ahead and make the design, like the little tag, to match those little bracelets. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate all of this as many times as I can on our little sheet. I think I'm going to be able to fit 5. I might only be able to fit 4 though. Okay, it looks like I'm only going to be able to fit 4, which is okay. That's still a good number. And now we can go ahead and customize these with the colors that we're wanting to use in the color palette. So we're just going to come up here. It looks like an artist palette, and it's called the fill panel. So we're going to open that fill panel, and you can use these default colors, or you can also use a custom color. So if you're kind of looking at your beads right here, you can change those to be the custom colors you want. And one thing that I actually really like is to make my tag a color, and then to make my design and my text just white. So let's go ahead and choose a color for my tag. Let's see. I actually have a bead that's kind of this like mustardy yellow color. So let's kind of choose that one. And then let's do white for the design. Super cute. And then let's make this white also. Fun. And then I'll just give you a couple different options, so I'll show you a few different ways. Then we have like a hot pink, so I'm going to use my custom color to just choose like a hot pink color. It's a little bit more red. Okay. And you can make them different colors too if you want, since our bracelets are going to have more than one color on them. With the hot pink, I think I'll do the light pink color with those, the beads. So I'm going to do my salutation in light pink on this one. And then that's for this one. Let's make this a guy one, so we could do it red, and we'll just leave it black and do a red and black bracelet. And then for this one down here, let's kind of do like this peachy orange. So I'm just going to click this orange, and then I'm going to drag my custom color a little bit to the red side to create like a peach color. And they're actually pretty kind of neon orange. So, oh, and this one actually, our Peace Out 5th grade did not. Oh, let's see, it is there. Let's see. Okay, it was just behind that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this white, and then I actually think I like these designs better with the white tag and then the colors on top. So let's go ahead and change these ones to that also. So we're just going to change this one. We can make this one purple. Let's make this yellow. Kind of do this mustardy yellow. Okay, and then this one, let's do a blue one too. And this would also be a super fun gift for teachers at the end of the year too. If you have like a young, fun, and hip teacher. Let's make that green. Okay, all right guys, so this is our design, and all we need to do now is connect to your printer and then come up here to File and then select Print. All right guys, so now we are going to do our silhouette cutting machine part. We are using the Cameo today, but you could use any machine for this project. Since we are just cutting an 8.5 by 11 sheet paper, you can use the Portrait, or if you have a bigger machine, you can also use a bigger one also. So I'm just going to take my Cameo mat right here and just peel off my protective cover and then line up my printed page with the corner of the mat. Perfect. And now I'm just going to go ahead and load this into the machine. I'm going to click this upward arrow right here and then line this edge of the mat up with this little gray arrow and line right here. And then we're just going to hold it in place until the machine pulls it in. Okay. And I have actually connected to the machine through Bluetooth, so I don't have any extra cords around, which is a really nice feature of the Cameo 4 machines, and then also the Portrait 3 as they're Bluetooth compatible. So I love that. All right, so we're back in Silhouette Studio, and here we are in the Send panel. And the first thing that I want you to notice is that everything has a red outline on it. And if it has a red outline in Silhouette Studio, that means that it's going to cut. So if I just sent this to cut right now as is, it would cut out all these little tiny pieces and this little hand peace sign and all these little tiny letters, and honestly it would kind of make a mess with your Silhouette machine. So we do not want those pieces to cut, and it's super easy to get them to not cut. So the only thing we need to do is we're just going to click one of our designs, and you'll see this little gray rectangle show up around it. Is a little bit faint, but you can see it. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and just click all of my inside pieces. And you just need to sit and let it load while it finds those pieces. And once I have all of those selected, I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to select No Cut. And now you will see that we have these all have a rectangle around them. This one, I must have clicked the wrong thing. So I'm going to select this little design again, and I'm going to click No Cut, and then I'm just going to click my outline again, and then I'm going to click Cut. And sometimes that happens if you just don't click in the exact place, or if you're not paying super close attention. So just make sure that before you send it, what you want to cut has this kind of red outline around it. And then we're just gonna, we've loaded our material into the machine, so we're just gonna come up here and select the material that we're using. And today we're just using cardstock, and I'm using 80-pound cardstock, so I actually always select cardstock textured heavy, just that's my preference, and then I like to bump it up to a 4, just to get a really nice, clean, crisp cut. And then I'm just gonna come down here to the Send button and click Send. All right guys, so this just finished cutting, so now I'm just going to go ahead and check to make sure that it cut all the way through, and it did. It has a nice crisp line, and I'm going to unload it by pressing this little downward arrow right here. And we're actually all done with our machine, and we're all done with our computer today as well. So I'm just going to slip those things to the side, and then I'm going to peel off the excess to begin with. of my sheet. And then I'm just going to flip my page over and pull my mat away from my design so that it doesn't curl. All right, so now we have these tags, and I'm going to fold it now, and it's going to be like this. So now you can kind of see what I meant, that if you didn't rotate this, it would be upside down. So there's our design, and there is our little salutation. So we have 4 different ones right here. I'm just going to be demonstrating one bracelet for you guys today. But I actually think it would be super cute and fun to do these in a pack of 2 also. So what I did to begin with our bracelets is I sorted through my plate of letter beads that I have right here, and I found the letters that I'm going to use today. I'm going to spell the name Kara for one of my friends. She's not finishing 5th grade herself, but I think she will like this bracelet. So I'm just going to put my name beads on this little glass plate right here, and then I can slide my other beads to the side. And you could really spell anything with your beads. You could just spell summer if you didn't want to make them personalized, or you could just put really anything. Friends, best friends, stuff like that. And then let's go ahead and match kind of our letters are colored, and I'm going to use this one because this has a hot pink and a light pink in it, the letters that I found. So I'm just going to scoot my other ones to the side for right now, and then I'm going to open my little clay beads. Alright guys, so I actually changed the name I'm going to be doing. I'm going to use Bryn, who is my younger sister. So we are going to go ahead and grab our bracelet material that we're going to be using now. This is just like a stretchy cord, like a bracelet cord. You can put clasps on the end of them, but it's a lot harder to put a clasp, and little kids can't put a clasp on anyway, so I just got this stretchy bracelet cord. And now I'm just going to go ahead and kind of use my own hand as a marker. Obviously, if you're making these for little kids, you could use a little kid's hand as your marker for how big you're going to make it, and give yourself a little bit of extra room since we are making these stretchy. And I'm just going to take a marker, a black marker. So I actually initially had a black cord, and then I realized that I wouldn't be able to mark it. So just go ahead and take a black marker, and this is probably easier if you have somebody helping you, but just put a little black line on the one side, and then on the other side we're going to unwrap it and then put a black line again. And this is not going to show up. You probably really can't even see it on the camera, but it's just really, really small. And then I'm just going to take some scissors and cut a little bit of extra just so we have enough to tie it with. I'm actually going to cut off quite a bit extra. And then, since we are putting a name on this one, if you're not putting a name, you don't have to worry about this, but we want our name to be centered. So I'm just going to fold it in half and have my little black lines meet. And then I'm just going to put a little dot at the top as well, so that as I'm making my bracelet, I have a somewhat sort of idea of where those letters need to go. Okay. And now, to make this super easy on us, I'm going to take a piece of tape. Actually, not quite yet. I'm going to tie a knot in this end first, on the shorter end. And this will just make it so that our beads hopefully don't slip off while we're tying it. And I even like to double knot it. You're going to see that when we tie this up at the end, I'm going to knot it like 10 times. And I actually have had one of these that I made last December, so like over a year ago, and I've worn it a lot of times, and the knot still has never come undone. So, with the same cording. So now we're just going to take our piece of tape and tape this down to our plate or countertop, whatever you're using. And then we're going to fill the knot all the way down to this little black line with beads with our name in the middle. And I like to do a pattern with mine, but I also like to make them super colorful. So this obviously is a hot pink and dark pink bracelet that we're going to be using, but then I think I'm also going to add in a couple white beads and then probably a couple yellow also. So to start out, we're just going to maybe do 10 pink ones. I like kind of chunkier bracelets, like chunkier patterns. And these beads you will find you can do more than one at a time, which is really helpful. So here's 5 already. Okay guys, and then on this side of the bracelet, we're just going to go ahead and start with this pink. I'm going to skip the little middle section. And we didn't get the exact same number of sections since our name beads were there too. So we are going to put it all the way in though, so it will still look even on your wrist, even though we have an extra hot pink section on this side. But now I'm just going to tie some knots on this end before we tie off the bracelet. And now, since we have knots on both sides, it's going to be a little bit easier to tie our sides together. So we're just going to take them now and tie it off all the way down on both ends. And I just knot it and I alternate directions, so kind of like a square knot, since square knots are very strong. So I'll do it one way and then I'm going to loop it the other way for the next one. And like I said, I'm just going to loop it honestly as many times as I can until one of them is too short. Okay, so I did about 7, 8 knots. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors and just cut it down. And I like to cut it down pretty far. And here is our bracelet. Very cute. I'll show you what it looks like on. Very fun, and you can see that by how we marked it, we can get like a really nice fit right around that's still stretchy enough to stretch onto your wrist. And now we're just going to go ahead and package it in our cute little packaging. So I'm just going to slide the bracelet right into the middle, and I'm going to put my knot so it's hidden. And then we're going to close it just by folding it over like this, and then we're just going to use a stapler to close it, which is super quick and super easy. So I'm just going to take my stapler, and I like to have it closed so it's not super bubbly anywhere. So I'm going to stick my stapler kind of down towards the bottom of my design, and I'm going to staple it there, and then I'm going to staple it at the top as well. And here is our final little gift. So we have Peace Out 5th grade, and then we have our little salutation on the back as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. This is a super fun project that you guys can do with your kids as school is coming to an end. And even if you're not going to gift these bracelets to anybody, you can still make the bracelets for each other and maybe gift them to family members or anything like that. So this has been so fun. Make sure to come back again to see what project we're going to have next week, and enjoy using your silhouette machine.